Welcome to Japan and More, where we answer your questions about traveling Japan. Today's question is, what are the etiquette rules for Kyoto tourists? Well, Kyoto is the most visited city in Japan. It is very beautiful with buildings that are hundreds of years old. It's a great place to visit, but the local residents are starting to get a little bit frustrated by some of the tourists. So today, we're going to give you some tips on how to be an invisible tourist and support sustainable tourism in Kyoto.
So today we're going to talk about how to be an invisible tourist using transportation, at restaurants, handling garbage, and sightseeing. Let's start with transportation. When waiting for public transportation, like subways, buses, and trains, make sure you line up in a single file line. Don't clump together in a group. Just make sure you're in a line so that way people around you know where the line is and where it begins and ends. Also, don't cut in line. Make sure when you walk up to a train, a bus, make sure you observe where the line is. Don't just walk straight into the door and disregard the people waiting for the train or bus. Also, don't take luggage on buses. Buses aren't really built for taking on luggage, especially city buses. So use the luggage forwarding services. There's one from Kyoto Station. When you get to Kyoto, you can just go to the luggage delivery service at the station and they'll send it to your hotel and you can go out sightseeing in the meantime and then it'll be there when you get back to your hotel.
When you're taking buses and trains, there are priority seats. Be sure to leave these open for people who need them. Priority seats are for people who are pregnant, traveling with small children, the elderly, and disabled. Also, make room for people when the door is open. So if you're on a bus or a train, sometimes, especially on a bus, the driver might say in Japanese to move to the front, but you might not understand what he's saying. Just know that even though you might think that the bus is full, if the driver opens the door and is letting on people, then that means that it's not full, that more people can get on. So you need to move out of the way to let other people get on.
If you're taking taxis, one of the key things that you want to make sure you don't open the taxi door yourself. The taxi doors open up automatically. They always open up on the side of the sidewalk. So don't run around the car into the street and open up the door that's on the driver's side. Don't close the door either. The door will open and close automatically.
And then when you get to your destination, don't open the door. When the driver is ready to open the door, he or she will open it.
Usually after you pay.
Yeah. Next, let's talk about restaurants. Be sure to not bring any outside food or drink into restaurants. So you're not supposed to consume anything that you didn't order at the restaurant. If you do have even just a water bottle, keep it in your bag until you leave the restaurant. If you want to drink water, just order some water from the restaurant.
Another thing about dining out is don't tip. Japan's not a tipping culture, so they don't have a system put into place in restaurants to deal with tipping. If you had very good service, which I guarantee you will, then the best thing you can do to show your appreciation is to say thank you, arigato. Or you can use the Kyoto dialect and you can say okini.
Also, don't cancel reservations at the last minute. So a lot of restaurants will take reservations several months in advance. They do expect you to show up for the time that you reserved. If you do want to cancel a reservation, do so well in advance so that they're able to book the seats for someone else. A lot of restaurants only hold a few people, so they're holding those seats for you. And they may even buy all the ingredients and the food for the dishes for that night. So if you don't show up, then they're left with all of that food. Next, let's talk about garbage. Kyoto is a beautiful city. The streets are really clean, and it's actually one of the things that people on our tours always say is that they can't believe how clean Kyoto is and even the rest of Japan. So just do your part. Don't litter. Don't drop anything on the streets or the sidewalks. It is illegal and there is a fine, but other than that, just try to keep the streets of Kyoto clean. And keep the bathrooms clean too. There is a trash can in the women's restroom in all of the stalls, but this is for bathroom trash. So it's not meant for any of the trash that you've been carrying around all day, like Starbucks cups or candy wrappers or things like that. So be sure to just put bathroom trash in there. And I'm not talking about used toilet paper. Used toilet paper does go into the toilet to be flushed. Regardless of what you see, there are some countries that put the toilet paper in the trash can, and you're going to see this happen, but don't follow suit. Definitely put the toilet paper into the toilet.
Trash cans, when you're out and about, you'll find are very few and far between. So my personal solution is I will go to the convenience store and buy a water bottle, and I'll ask them for a plastic bag. It costs about 3 yen, and that becomes my little personal trash can. So I use that as I'm out and about, and I put all my trash in there. And then when I get to my hotel room, I throw it away in the hotel room. Or if I see a trash can on a train platform or something like that, I'll throw it away there. On the same topic of garbage, I'd like to bring up smoking too. Smoking, which in Japan actually includes vaping, it's considered smoking all the same. Smoking outside in Kyoto is not allowed. Kyoto is a very old city, and a lot of the structures are made of wood. So really, you're not supposed to smoke outside of buildings, on sidewalks, or in the street. Your cigarette butt, if you throw it on the ground, that's actually considered litter too. So you're not just smoking on the sidewalk, which is against the rules, but you're also littering. My best advice is smoke in the designated smoking areas. You'll find those occasionally around the city. There's little smoking areas.
All of the sightseeing areas have a designated smoking section, and the hotels too, and even restaurants. If you just ask somebody where the smoking area is, they'll point you in the right direction.
And let's get into sightseeing. When you're going to a place and there's a line to buy tickets, just line up. Don't cut in front of people. When you're at these old temples and shrines, even when you're in the alleys of Gion, don't touch the temple, shrines, and the houses. First of all, these are people's houses. And second of all, a lot of these structures are really, really old. They're made of wood, and they're hundreds of years old, so they can damage easily. Another thing is don't carve your name into the structures. Don't carve your name into the torii. Don't carve your name into people's housing. Don't carve your name into anything. Bamboo. Don't carve your name into bamboo.
Also, try not to be too noisy, especially in residential areas. A lot of people live there, and there's narrow alleyways, walkways. And if you're shouting and having a very loud conversation, then people inside their houses are going to be disturbed by it. So just remember to keep your voices down. And also, when you go to temples and shrines, remember that they are sacred places, and try not to be too noisy inside.
And when you're out sightseeing, don't block roads. A lot of these roads, even though they're narrow and there's a ton of people on them, they are functioning roads with automobiles and mopeds. So don't stand in the middle of the street to take photos and block traffic. When you come to a stoplight or a street and you want to cross it, make sure you cross at a crosswalk. Obey the photography rules. A lot of areas will have signs that say no photography. So if you see that sign, just obey it. Don't take pictures. There's no photos of altars at temples and shrines either. And there's usually a sign there that says no photography. Around the Gion area especially, there's a lot of signs because those houses are private property and they don't really want people taking pictures of them. When you take pictures of people, ask the people before you take their picture. You're going to see a lot of beautiful kimono, and you might want to take a picture with them or take pictures of them. Just ask them first. And another thing, when you're out and about and you'll see, it's the cutest thing ever. It's daycare. There's people pushing carts around with a bunch of little kids inside, and they got these adorable little hats on. Instinct is to just take pictures of it, but you shouldn't.
And don't stop geisha on the street to ask to take their picture. They're usually on their way to an event, a banquet, to work. And so they're often in a hurry and they don't have time to stop and take a picture. And if they stop to take one picture, then it's going to escalate into having hundreds of pictures. So it's better just not to take pictures of the geisha on the street unless you're really far away. You can sneak one in that way.
And another thing that I've heard, people are throwing things at geisha. Don't do that. Don't touch them. They're wearing very expensive kimonos, so don't grab the kimono and don't touch them. Just let them be. They're doing a centuries-old job, and just let them go. They're just going to work. That's all they're doing.
And consider yourself lucky if you see someone on the street. And at some sightseeing places, you may be asked to take off your shoes. Just comply and take off your shoes when asked. If there's any place that has tatami, then you'll definitely have to take off your shoes. And remember that when you're on tatami, even slippers are not good to wear because they can tear up the tatami. And some people ask about wearing shoe covers. I don't recommend it. Japanese people don't do it, so obey the norms and take off your shoes. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And tell us your questions about traveling Japan in the comments section below. We might answer it in the next episode.
And for more information about traveling Japan, check us out at japanamore.com. Thanks for watching.